This is another just gorgeous moment of Morgan at a 10th of a second just before or after dark, you know?
Yeah, I think this was actually a third of a
Ah,
second.
shit.
And this, I remember looking at the data. Actually, I'll bring it up right now.
Bring it up.
Let's bring it up.
Thanks for
Come on.
sharing these things.
This,
I love to share as well with a lot of the settings, and there's so much like protection and secrecy in these days and day and age of people being like, no, but it's like every moment is different. These are guidelines. What Morgan tells you with these settings, you guys, take it with a grain of salt and make it your own. Show and see and use like his settings as a guideline, but then apply it to your
absolutely.
situation. It shouldn't be an end all like, okay, this was the exact settings for Morgan's underwater photo. It's going to work perfect for mine. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
The lighting will be slightly different,
I
the water
honestly,
clarity, but this is a guide, and it's great that you're sharing this, Morgan, because like I think that's such an important thing. I mean, obviously you're very confident with your craft and where you are in your career, and I think it's wonderful. So thank you.
I mean, when I was 18, 19, and I first got my hands on the camera, this was before Instagram and you can direct message pros and stuff. And there was like, I don't think Vimeo was around yet, maybe YouTube, and YouTube definitely was. And so, but everyone had their website and their email, and I emailed a couple of my heroes in the surf world, and I said like, hey, like what's the settings for this, or what kind of lens? Nothing. I got nothing back.
Yeah.
And I actually have been vibed out times on it, and when I was coming up and shooting photos in Santa Barbara, people were like, "Nah, this is my zone. You can't."
Jeez.
And I have so much fun doing this, and I get a lot of messages daily asking what lens to use, what can. I will answer them all, and I love that people reach out because it's like, I mean, honestly, like if I had some trade secret, if I was bottling Coca-Cola at my house, I won't tell you what the 50th ingredient is. But I mean, this is like photography, and I found that for every single time I've shared information with somebody, and whether it was their reaction or they in turn shared something back with me, it has made my life and my passion in photography that much richer. And so I just encourage it totally. So I really appreciate it, and it's like it's only open doors. Like I've shared information with like random kids over social media where they said, "What kind of lens did you use?" I tell them, and 6 months later, they mail me a book that they've made or they thought I'd appreciate.
That's great.
And that's like, I mean, it brings me endless joy, and so it's pretty cool. And also to just establish relationships through your communication, whereas being stubborn in that sense just closes the door immediately. But like, so this was 1/5 of a second. This was on a 300 f4, my absolute favorite lens for using. Like for the only telephoto lens I use, but I tried every telephoto lens once, landed on the 300 f4 because it's about the size of a Red Bull can, and does a lot of heavy lifting from the beach. And this was ISO 100. This was like a kind of a cold gray, foggy winter evening, so the light was pretty dim. But this is a friend of mine, Kyle Albers, and he shapes these really eccentric boards, and he has probably the strangest body I've ever seen. He's like 6'10" and like and just must weigh only 100 pounds, and he just flies on these little boards and just like luckily he was trying out this little pizza box that was like hot orange, and it just gave that pop on this.
It made the shot a lot, you know what I mean, among other things, but that color pop made it, you know, just to kind of like give that vibrancy and do it. Almost would have given a black and white look if it was just on a whiteboard, you know, to a degree. And you know, I think that's an amazing thing. You know, have you ever got settings tips from Ryan Miller? Has he ever given you any settings tips, or has he been real secretive of that?
I mean, Ryan Miller is a good friend of mine. He shoots of ours, and he shoots the exact opposite of how I would shoot in every single moment. And so we'll cross paths, and it's like Kelly Slater and Shane Dorian and John Florence trading waves at Perfect Pipeline. And I'm like taking photos of sand textures with a 50 millimeter, and he's like shooting with a 800 millimeter lens and directing his assistant to like swim out and going. And we just laugh at each other, but it's funny because he crushes it. His photos will be on every cover, the Hurley billboard, and then I'll sell the sand texture to like I don't know, some like Saatchi and Saatchi or whatever for like some interior, and so we always rip each other so hard on that. But it works out. But it's funny because it's like at any given point in time, you will look at what he's shooting and what I'm shooting and what you're shooting. we're like all polar opposites.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's like, because like what you were saying earlier, we have our styles and we have our methodology, and there's no right or wrong way. And it's like, for that moment, you will get, if you know what you're doing and you're confident what you're doing, you will get the best photo to your creative ability. But also too, is that you step back and like, when I pass away in however many years, my legacy will probably be sand and water texture photos. It won't be pipeline photos. There's been some amazing days at Pipeline where I've shot cool sand photos. So, and then vice versa. It's like, you know, you will have your legacy of perfect, big, draining fisheye barrel shots from Pipeline. So that's how I think it will all settle out.
That's beautiful. You know? Thanks for the eulogy, Morgan. I was here. I sat behind Morgan. He got in my way on this shot. It's epic. Thank you very much, Morgan. And I believe this was a cover.
Yeah. This was John at Chopu. I think he was just finishing up or right after finishing shooting View from a Blue Moon, and he was cruising with his friends. And it was just one of those evenings where it was not a great day, and you just watch the surf and you watch the wind switch and the cloud cover come in, and it's not good for underwater. It's not really good to shoot from the boats. You get seasick, whatever. And there was just this, like, the wind switch. We were out there. I think it wasn't even, I'm remembering the photos I took before this, and it was just kind of fat and chunky. And John, of course, got the one that drained from the upper part of the reef. Just stood tall, did his steezy thing, and there was a beautiful rainbow in the background, and I just swam right in front of you.
Yeah,
I think
perfect. Thank
you
you.
were shooting fisheye, so my head didn't ruin your photo. But
I think I had a 1635. I kind of swam out at this point, and I got more of a pulled back with the full rainbow on the thing. But I remember just that was a fun afternoon. I think one of the best parts of these things is, you know, we're working, but we're having so much fun, you know, talking story, doing these things, kind of getting caught by the sets and doing that. And I guess I love that, like, camaraderie that we kind of create. I know Dom was out there as well with us, and, you know, just kind of trading stories and doing that. I think that's one of the things of what I love so much about all this photography and stuff. I mean, when there's 45 guys at Pipeline, though, that's a little much. But, you know, in these like little moments like this, when you can share those stories and have that, and everyone's photo looks so different, which was the beautiful thing too, and it was cool.
And we're bumping shoulders with Eric Knudsen, who's shooting with a massive red camera, and then there's like 3 French guys with GoPros on their helmets, and it's just it's chaotic, but it's also like we're all shoulder to shoulder, and we're just like shooting the breeze, and it's pretty cool. And then we're all scraping our nipples on the reef when a set comes, and then someone pops up with a bloody head, and you know, and it's just it's not working. It's divine. It's actually like I'm at my house. I've been working from home, and I'm in post-production, and I mean, theoretically, I should be stoked that my kitchen's right here. I'm in the comfort of my home, and my friends are in my neighborhood, but I would do anything to be back there right now working. You know, that's as good as it gets. It really is the best ever, you know. The pinnacle of our job. Pinnacle of all jobs.
Absolutely. You know? Very lucky. So that's another great moment. Oh, I love this photo. That's a special one.
So this is in Stradbroke Island in Australia, in Queensland. And this is like a photo where I was on a Billabong women's shoot, and we're shooting endless amounts of bikinis and clothing and just cruising around beaches and jungle, and just like it was really rough. It sucked, and it was terrible. But we had this epic vacation house right on the beach, which was terrible too. And we had this view, and every afternoon we this was fall in Australia. This was in March. And so every afternoon, this big band of rain would come, and we'd have to go back to the house or go find a cafe or a house or something to chill at, because it would just start pouring rain. And I would always see this reef, this one lone reef, kind of probably a mile and a half out to sea off of the main headland in North Stradbroke. It would have this activity that would, like, I mean, it wasn't a great wave by any means, but it just would for a split second barrel and then fizzle out into the channel. And I would watch these storms come in behind it. And that to me is like, all right, storm, perfect barrel, big minimal composition, crazy blue colors. Like this is it.
It's a dream.
I waited 5 days for this photo, and I would like ditch the shoot if all the girls were like sitting there in bikinis or clothes or whatever, being like, we need to shoot this shot and get in the car and go here. Or if everyone was eating lunch, I would just go and I'd post up, and I waited 5 days, and this was the last day we're on the island. And for a split second, there was a perfect wave. It barreled, it pitched perfectly, and then it just got enveloped in the rain. And that was like, I mean, this honestly is like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess this would probably be one of my like absolute, like, I guess like a magna opus of a surf photo for me, of a ocean or a wave photo, because it was a culmination of both like a composition and a something I wanted so badly, as well as something I worked so hard for. I mean, it's like kind of like you look at certain paintings and films, and you understand how hard filmmakers or people work to get that, as well as how much it represented of their dream or their artistic vision. And this one is one of mine. And like, I mean, it's just a split second. It literally was just a quick little pitching barrel, and then it fizzled out, and then a minute later I couldn't even see my hand in front of me from the rain. And but at the same time, it's like, I mean, if I told you the amount of I guess emotional and time and energy that went into this, it's immense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
very rewarding though on that. So I think that's just incredible. Wow, very cool.
Yeah. So this is my good friend Josie Prendergast at home in Byron Bay. Just a super stylish, wonderful human being that just is, I call her the queen of the past, because she just goes out and wows everyone with her style. And this was just an evening we were fiddling around. It was actually incredibly small. This wave was unrideably small, just a little reform on the inside, and we're just shooting, paddling and trying to catch waves and goofing around and having fun. The lighting was really beautiful, and she just graced past me, and I had my settings. I think this was a 1/10 or 1/13, which is 1/10 to 1/13 in the water is very rewarding for textures and tones and colors. Very hard to get any sort of stillness in any subject matter, and that's kind of like where I've had my biggest losses as far as just write-offs of hours spent shooting. And then five of my 10 best photos are shot at that shutter speed. So it's very tricky. And this was one of them. And this is a photo that just like, I mean, the light on her body, the tones, the colors, the pop, the vibrant jungle in the background, everything just kind of got really lucky. And I took probably let's just say like, over the course of another 20 minutes, 5 or 6 more waves rolled through, and another girl, Pasha Light, was out surfing with us. Not a single photo turned out.
Damn.
This was just like a like out of like probably like 200, because when you're shooting at that shutter speed, they're coming at you, you're firing, you're banging off, I don't know, 1/10 of a second. I think you get like maybe 3-4 frames per second at that rate. And so I probably took 200 photos over those 6 or 7 waves. Not a single photo turned out except for this one. Yeah. So that's just kind of
worth it.
That's how it works.
Yeah. You got to challenge yourself. I feel, in those kind of moments like that, like, it's like, okay, go the safe route, shoot everything sharp. Okay. Looks just like the other ones you've got, or challenge yourself. You get that one, but this one is now a portfolio image for you. This is now an image that lives on. This is something very proud of when you can see that. I've shot pipe in the same way. None of them in the sequence is sharp. You get that one, makes it all worth it. Oh, did you get that wave? I missed it. That was the best wave of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, but like you get, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that practice and that going out of your comfort zone that we push, to go further. That we want to go further and challenge ourselves. That we come to these.
And
Go ahead. No.
So this was. I was going to say, so like that previous photo, I took that in 2016, and I've shot so many. I mean, 2016, I think I traveled 350 days out of the year, and I shot so much snowboarding, surfing, skateboarding, hiking, climbing, skydiving, bikini, fashion, lifestyle. This is one of the marquee photos from that.
Yeah.
And there's probably so many missed moments reflecting back on all that subject matter and places and things I shot.
All goes away then,
but it all goes away, and like 10 years from now, I'll be like, oh, that was a great photo from 2016 or whatever. And that's just how it lands. Wow. So
I love that. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Between Sets. Make sure to like and subscribe to be tuned in on all future episodes. Thank you.